Welcome back to Tech, Tesla, and Trends. Tonight we're looking at Module 6, Materials. Materials matter. Whether it's a nut, a bolt, or lithium, or aluminum, or whatever it might be, right down to computer bits and bytes. Materials matter, digital or otherwise. So when you're looking at this, you need to determine how much of a material you require for your product. In the case of injection molding, there's a certain amount of the aluminum compound or aluminum that they're injecting into the Model Y and Model 3 as part of their die-cast process. As you think about that, they had to work through the process of how that material was to be handled, how it flowed into the die. That wasn't a straightforward process. They had to iterate through that. Again, step 2 of module 2 is rapid action, test, solution, integrate as needed, or iterate as needed, and then never give up. And that's exactly what they've done with the injection mold process that they've worked through with IDRA. So as material is more than just, we can acquire that from a supplier. In some instances, as Tesla is now getting into mining of lithium, it's more about they need more than can be required or can be acquired by traditional means. So product, material necessary to achieve your goals has to be brought into play or brought into your system so that it can be manipulated and refined. And that refining process is also part of the conversation that is that of materials. So how much processing is required? Can you iterate on that particular process, make it better, faster, or easier? That whole iterative process is necessary at every step of this process of thinking, because without that iterative process, you get locked into the way things have always been done. If that is your answer to a particular problem or where you're at, that's a clue. A clue that you're on the wrong track, potentially. And more than likely, it's a clue that you're operating with incomplete knowledge of what you're looking at, or of your materials or your process or the people you're working with. So this matters from a perspective of how do you make the material process more efficient? Do you need to mine that material in order to have more of it more efficiently, entering into your processing and refining process? If so, then that's exactly what Tesla has ended up doing. They've ended up entering the lithium mining and refining process. And this will become more and more of a thing for Tesla over the years as they bring alien dreadnoughts online around the world. It's just, and for those of you out of the know, that would be those factories that are the machines that are making the machines, which is gigafactories. And as they spread around the globe, they will require more materials at a more consistent speed. Now, some of that will be able to be addressed by redwood materials in their recycling processes, or some other recycling companies that enter into that space, as that's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Now, other parts of that, though, Tesla's going to have to come into that market and begin to play. So looking at the way that this works, they need to have a very clear handle on how much they need in order to know, is the current supply in the world, literally, sufficient for what they need? If the amount of material that they need exceeds the current mining capacity of that particular mineral in the world, that's a clue for Tesla to know, okay, we're going to have to go and mine this material ourselves. Or we're going to have to come up with a better way of recycling and refining it. Whatever the issue is, that's the sort of question that the materials process brings into play. And understanding that is fundamentally important to whether or not your product can make it to market in a rapid fashion. I mean, Tesla's rolling a new Model Y off the line roughly every 30 seconds, and that's not nothing. That's a serious, well-oiled machine bringing product in one door or materials in one door and shipping out a refined product at the other end. That's how the whole Austin and Berlin gigafactories are laid out. You drive in the material and out drives a car. That's the intent. And it's a different way of looking at how materials are handled. It's more of a processor type, data in, processed data out. And that is very important for the manufacturing process that Tesla is iterating, and I think also SpaceX, as you look at how they're ramping Raptor 2 engine production. Those materials and processes that are involved are ever changing and iterating. Again, that process 2 or module 2, step 2 is very critical to the long-term success of this materials process. So the next item that's important, and it's kind of part of that supply chain, is can you secure contracts in sufficient volume for what you need? And if not, then perhaps you need to enter that market. And my third item that I see in this whole conversation is transport is a factor. And you'd better be prepared to ensure that as your production grows, that you're able to bring the materials into your factory. So that's, again, part of moving that lithium processing to American shores for an ease of delivery to the Austin Gigafactory. And I'm sure that there will be multiple more changes in how those resources and materials are delivered to the factories, and it's something to keep in mind. It's not just we ordered it and it shows up by FedEx. Some items might show up that way, but the vast majority are being handled in a far different manner, in larger volumes and with particular deadlines, and improving volumes and delivery rates. Tesla doesn't accept the standard, hey, this is what we did last year. If you're not delivering a little bit more or at a lower price or whatever that item might be of improvement, then you're likely to be innovated past or to be acquired so that innovation can occur. Now, granted, they don't like to buy companies outright if they don't have to, because that's a process that they have to add to the system. And the best process is, again, no process. So ensuring that those suppliers' processes are secure is part of Tesla's consideration. And it's always a last resort, I think, for them to consider buying a company or or that means of production. If they can use people and work with people on that to deliver things in an improving fashion, totally, it's something they want to do because it's effective and efficient and both sides can win. But when there's a roadblock or a supply problem, that's where Elon's going to get drawn to. Wherever the holdup is, the slowdown, that's where he's going to focus, because that's what matters. That's his whole point and purpose in the process, is to root out those slow points, those potholes in the system. So for now, we'll carry on the conversation of materials down in the comments. But it's an interesting area, and I would love to hear what you think and what you think I got wrong. And I'm sure that I've missed something in there, but materials and material science is part of this process. And anyways, that's Module 6, materials. Let's have a conversation.